Hey everybody, welcome to this very, very special edition of the Live Magic Q&A Tea Party with me, your host, Madame Pamita, and my magical guest, Marcella, who's sitting right next to me. I manifested an actual physical person. I don't have to go back and forth between screens. We're just gonna have one screen up all the time, and that's gonna be this one here. If you are tuning into this and you're finding this on YouTube, you can join us in the Live Magic Q&A Tea Party live and ask your questions about magic, law of attraction, spiritualism, whatever you can ask about spells, about divination, all kinds of things. You can do that and join us every Sunday. We do this at 5 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Mountain Time, 7 p.m. Central, and 8 p.m. Eastern Time. To do that, you need to go to spellsquad.com, sign up for my email list. You'll get the link to join us. That's the same link every week, so you can just sign up once and get that link, and it's going to be the same at least for the next few months, and you'll be able to join us. You'll also get, though, something very cool, which is a free copy of my ebook, 7 Secrets to Supercharge Your Spell Work, which you'll get right away. And you'll also get, we have a little kitty cat over here. You probably can't see her, but she may show up. You'll also get really helpful emails that come from me that talk about, articles, information, all kinds of good things that are helpful to you to do your magical practice, to do your spiritual practice. If you're wondering who I am, I'm Madame Pamita. You can find me online at parlorofwonders.com. You can also find me on Instagram under Madame Pamita. You can find me under YouTube at Madame Pamita. I've got a ton of free information everywhere I go. I'm like the Johnny Appleseed of free information about magic. I leave it everywhere I go. And hopefully that sprouts the beautiful tree that blossoms of your own magical practice. So let's see if I got a little extra special news for you. I am starting this month a special thing that I'm doing for the year of 2020, which is to do a new moon hearth service. So if you know a little bit about magic, you know that the hearth is a very sacred space for doing magical working, magical practice. And the hearth is a place to contact your spirits and to contact your spirit guides and to get the assistance of spirits to do your work. The new moon is a beautiful time for any kind of magic where you're starting to open up something to bring something new in. It has the power of being in the new moon being in an astrological sign and the sun being in the same astrological sign. So you get the power of the sun and the moon helping you to do your work. I have a new moon service that I'm inviting 13 people to come in and do this service with me. We'll be doing live Zoom sessions as we light the candles and as we do the candle readings at the end. So there's 2 amazing Zoom sessions that we'll do as a group. But you'll be able to join us if you get in. There's only 2 more spaces. The last time I checked, there's only 2 more spaces left of those 13. So if you want to join us, get in on that now. And then on the 24th, we'll be doing the lighting of the candles together in Zoom, just private for just us 13, and it's going to be amazing. So I hope that there's 2 of you out there that are going to join me in doing that. It's something really, really cool. And this new moon that's coming up is an Aquarian new moon. It's good for problem solving, new ideas, mind opening, expansion of ideas, thoughts, creation, clearing out the old cobwebs and really coming up with some really energized thoughts, ideas, and action that follows that. So it's a really, really good spell that we're going to be doing this month. So I hope that you join me. If you want to find out more about that, you can go to my site, Parlor of Wonders, and click on services, and you'll see candle spells, new moon hearth service, sorry, and you can find that over there. You can read more about it and find out more about it and order it if there are spaces left. Once the spaces are gone, that unfortunately will go away, and I only have 2 more spaces. So without further ado, let me tell you about my fabulous guest. My fabulous guest is Marcella Kroll. Marcella is the artist and creator of originally the Sacred Symbols deck, which is, I have an old school 2nd edition one. There's a newer version, which she brought in. I couldn't find mine, but I do have one somewhere. A third edition? Third edition Sacred Symbols Oracle deck. She's also the creator of the Nature Nurture Oracle deck. And most recently, this beautiful book, which is now sold out, just came out and it's sold out, called Priestess. I remember when you were making this book, when we shared a space together, like my space at the Parlor of Wonders. Marcella was doing readings there. Yeah. And Marcella is an amazing intuitive. She travels all over the country doing amazing teaching, and she teaches here in LA, and she's just a phenomenal, powerful, reader and magical teacher and all kinds of amazing things. So here she is, Marcella.
I love you, Pam.
I love you too. So I want to hear, well, first of all, I want to hear the story. I kind of know the story, but I want to hear the story for everyone else to hear the story about the beginning of the Oracle deck creation, which started with this deck.
Okay. Yeah, so the first edition, I would say the first edition of Sacred Symbols, I'll try to make this really brief. So in 2013, I had been kind of without a home and couch surfing and staying with a friend that summer. And I had been drawing some drawings. Just anyway, it turned into a deck, and I edited them on an iPhone 3, and it was, I never really imagined it turning into a deck. A friend had suggested creating a deck, and you know, anyway, it ended up turning into a deck. And the first edition, which is out of print, as is the second edition, the first edition is a paper like tuck box, and it's 3 less cards in this one. After a couple of years, I made the second edition where I added a few cards and I upgraded the box, but nothing really changed with it in terms of the writing and things. And it's interesting, you know, like, you know, last year I've been wanting to make changes with this deck because, like, people change, why can't the deck change, you know? And I felt like there was a lot in my life that it's really reflected in kind of the process of, you know, what it looks like, the final product. So I wanted to give it new life, and I felt like give it more of an accurate representation, not just like accurate with symbols, with the divinatory meanings, with just in this day and age, you know, we really need to be accountable in terms of there needs to be a sense of responsibility and accountability, particularly with, like, you know, messages of appropriation or taking advantage of resources and things like that. So that is the streamlined version of why I redid, you know, and I went through and I redrew every card, and actually mostly because of your creativity oil. I just remembered this. Yeah. I got a sample of her creativity oil when we were sharing space, and I was like, I'm going to try it. And then that weekend I redrew all of the cards. So there's 50 cards in this one.
50 drawings in a weekend.
50 drawings in a weekend.
Boom.
After, like, getting all juiced up on her creativity oil, on a candle, on my neck, you know, on my hands, like, bring it on in. Yeah. So that was that. We're the third edition, you know.
Oh my gosh.
And I actually worked with someone to help me, like, graphically set it up properly, because, like, I didn't know how to do that, you know. I mean, even with, all right, so with Nature Nurture, I did everything on this, and I'll tell you, like, even the physical, like the layout, like, I got one of those Adobe free trials. It was like, you have 5 days to figure out Photoshop, and I did. I mean, it's obviously probably a graphic designer's nightmare if they looked at it.
But it's not the files, but the cards themselves are gorgeous.
Oh,
I mean, they're just gorgeous. If you can see, let's see if I can get it so it doesn't glare.
Yeah, there's like the light glare. But, you know, you can kind of get an idea of, like, they're all, I hand draw everything. So
there I am. That's my card. Wild Woman.
Wild Woman. And it's the same thing in Priestess was something that, like, I wanted it to be hand drawn. So you know.
Her book is not just a book of, like, a bunch of words, like the kinds of books I write. It is a book of words and amazing pictures. Oh, there I am again.
Yeah, there you are.
I'm showing up in everything. So it's this beautiful kind of journey through your magical self, being a priestess. Tell us a little bit about the book and how that came to be.
I wanted it to, like, I had this idea for a book for a couple of years now, and, you know, I had a couple of publishers approach me about writing a book, but the vision I had was more of this, like, I wanted it to look like you found someone's magical grimoire. And essentially that's what it is. It's basically, I've taken, like, the last several years of journals and, like, pulled from those pieces things that I've learned, journal notes, ritual spells, and I wanted it to have this effect, you know, of everything kind of falling into place. And not many people were willing to take a risk on that. They thought it was too out there and conceptual, and not occult media, which is publisher here in Los Angeles were like, oh, we'd love to print that. So that's kind of where it came. That's how this came to be.
And the first edition just came out when?
October 20, well, officially October, like the beginning of October. And then we had the party like October 20th, right? So October 20th is when it was like the launch party. And it's now January 12th. And it's sold out. I know that the first edition, which is the hardcover edition, is sold out. And it Rosalie Apothecary, they're a shop in New Orleans, and I was just there for a book signing. They still have some copies, and you can get some on their website, but I'm pretty sure everywhere else is sold out. There is going to be a second edition printed, but it won't be out until the fall, and that second edition is going to be a soft cover. So yeah, if you do get your hands on the hardcover copy, that one is going, that's the first edition. So.
There you go. So already a sellout success on her book, which is so amazing. I'm not surprised. You sell out of everything. Everything you make, people are clamoring for it. You know, the decks. I mean, the decks are super popular. She sells out of those decks. Every time I talk to her, she's like, I've only got 3 more copies of the deck. I only got 3 more this. I only got 2 more.
It's all a surprise. I mean, really, because especially for people out there who are trying to get their work out there, and as an artist, it can be really discouraging. And, you know, I've approached so many publishers about getting my decks printed through them, and they're like, no, we're not into it. And, you know, and I think that can be really discouraging to constantly be told no. To be told like, it's not what we're looking for. And then you see things that are being printed and I'm like, are you kidding me? Like,
yeah.
So if you are someone who's trying to create things like, you know, like just, and you really believe in it and you feel it in your heart, like try to like not let that discouragement take you out of the kind of, you know, take you off track, you know, because no matter how many times I've heard no for like say sacred symbols, it's like getting feedback from people via social media or just like, you know, the fact that like I get this different kind of feedback from all ages, like that's enough for me to keep reprinting, you know. The fact that I have people be like, my toddler likes this, my father, my grandparent likes this, you know, this wide range of people that are affected or touched by stuff that, you know, okay, whatever, this big publisher doesn't want it. It doesn't matter. They're not who I'm printing it for. You know,
that's I think one of the wonderful things about like this day and age is that you can take out the gatekeepers. Mm-hmm. If you create something that's very niche or very esoteric or very particular, those people will find you. And every single person, when I say your name, they're always like, oh my God, I love her. All the readers that I know so many readers that myself included who say how powerful this deck is. If you know, like how powerful it is for doing readings with these very beautiful images and symbols that have a lot of richness to them, you know? And so using these,
I'm just like, because the thing that people don't know about this too is like it's really personal for me in the sense that when they get printed, I have them delivered to my house and then I do a ritual with all of them. So you're not, you know, the ritual goes to people like I ask that they be charged up with the energy to go to the right home, you know, so the right people can get them. And I've only had a couple of instances where I've had weird things happen with them and them come back, or you know, a person wanting them and they couldn't get them. And I'm like, you know,
I'm just gonna say I got mine, so
yeah,
whatever.
So I mean, it's fun, you know. And again, like these are, you know, there, you know, some people complained about like the printing of the 3rd edition, and they're like, oh, it's so simple, and I'm like, well, it doesn't. It is what it is. It's like it's not the, you know,
the simplicity of it though allows you to to project your interpretation rather than you being force-fed someone else's interpretation. So I don't think a simplistic thing is a bad thing.
I don't think so either, but I also think like the color is so important. And in finding your own pathway through it, your own interpretation, because that's for me, like when I learned tarot, like no one told me how to read tarot. Like I know there's lots of resources out now, and you teach and you have books, and I think that's awesome. And I teach teens, and but growing up, you know, I didn't have anyone to teach me, so I had to like kind of a lot of times I'm like, just use my imagination, which I now know is like, oh, your imagination, your intuition, you know, to tell the story. And it was really like learning through that, creating my own connections to symbolism, that I got to, you know, really dive into being a reader.
And that people can do with your deck
Yeah,
too, because
totally.
you know, it's really lovely, the little booklet that comes with it. Oh, look at our teacups, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Water signs converge. But that idea that you're that you give a little booklet, and I think you give a little interpretation, but it allows space for the person to get their own. You don't give like pages and pages and pages of like, it only means this, but you actually, you know, in your deck, she actually gives these really lovely kind of foundational things, but allows you kind of to create and connect to those symbols on your own. So I think it's really, really gorgeous. So if they want to, none of the decks are available now, or any?
No, the decks are available. There are some stores that sell the decks, and also I sell them on my Etsy. And
what's your Etsy site? If they go Marcella Kroll on
Marcella
Etsy?
Kroll, or if they look for Saved by the Spell, is my business name.
Saved by the Spell.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus, Saved by the Spell.
Saved by the Spell. Another easy way to find like the links to all my stuff is on my actual Instagram. In the link in my bio, there's a link tree link, and if you click on it, it will give you like, it'll say Etsy, Patreon, website services, book me, even like the direct booking link for my reading.
Let's get to questions, but I want to ask one more thing.
Yeah, sure.
Your Patreon, that's what I want to talk about. So at the end of our session today, that Marcella's going to do a beautiful reading for all of you guys that are here in the room about what to expect for the week, probably using the cards here or whatever. And so she's going to look at what's going on for this coming week, which is a very intense week, and you'll talk about that when you do the reading at the end. But she has a Patreon, you have a Patreon where you do give special things to people that are your Patreon subscribers.
So it took me a minute to join like Patreon. I was a little bit like, as one person, as you know, sometimes like managing and keeping track. I don't have help. It's just me, and
I have help.
I don't have help. I have my I do readings, I make art, I do all these things, and managing stuff, like it just took me a while. I'm a little slow to the party with the Patreon. But I have 3 with Patreon. You can subscribe to different tiers, and it gives you certain like benefits. So for $5 a month, I have my Oracle tier, which is essentially twice a week I will post a Oracle card reading for the collective energies. You know, I do it for the week, and I usually do it for the weekend. And then for the second tier is $22 a month, and that is the Seeker tier. And what that is it includes the Oracle readings, and you get a video or a meditation, like it's a witch tip, essentially. You get 1 witch tip a month plus the Oracle readings.
What a bargain, though. That's amazing.
The highest tier I have, which is like, there's 3 tiers, right? So I have Oracle, Seeker, and then I have the Magician tier, which is $44 a month. That includes your Oracle readings, your witch tip a month, and then like depending, each month it's a little bit, I'm doing a different offering. So it can be class instruction, it could be a meditation, or like I just gave my magicians for January, I gave them a gift, like a little magical kit gift from Ritual Craft. So that was like my gift, you know, or we'll do a meetup. We have like, I'm just new to this, so it's like, it's a learning curve, you know, but it's pretty cool.
I love it.
You know, it's a way for me to do, like, be able to provide information, but also like, I find that like having there be a place for people to specifically go, and, you know, like, I don't know, it's just a helpful, like, you get me right in your inbox.
I love it, because, you know, if you're from LA, or Denver is another place where you're big and huge in Denver, and you're huge here. It's like they get a little piece of you and connection to you and community with you and like-minded people in that space, and they'll have more interaction with you, which I love. That's like, well, super great.
Like with Instagram too and all that stuff, like those algorithms, people can like not go see your stuff for months, whereas like with the Patreon, you know, it's like you get the reading, you get the direct contact in the sense of you can like comment, post, and all that stuff, but you also get notified in your inbox that a new video is up. Because I'm also, like I said, I'm one person, I'm not really good with the email lists, and doing all the things, but like this I can do.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah,
So-
it's so great. It's so great. Well, you're going to get a little flavor of that at the end of our session
Yes.
today when she's going to give a little reading for all of you, which is like her week reading about what's going on astrologically and looking at the cards ahead. So let's look at some questions. We
Okay.
got lots and lots and lots of questions. So let's
Okay.
get to them.
Okay.
People saying, hi, hello, everybody. Someone, how to get the audio to work. Well, if you're not hearing us, it's something on your phone or your computer, and your audio should be off. So that should answer your question. Okay, that's not really a magical question. Unless there's some spell you know that can get someone's audio to work on their computer. I think we are the last people to fix
I mess up electronics all the
computer
time.
stuff. All right. All right, here's a great, very big question.
Okay.
From Karen. With all the chaos in the world, what can we do to help raise the vibration of the collective consciousness? What do you have to say about that? That's a big question.
That is a big question. Okay, with all the chaos in the world, what can we do to help raise the vibration of collective consciousness? Well, I mean, I think it's in those small individual acts, you know. I think it's, you know, obviously prayer and meditation for the collective is good, but what is it worth if you're not embarking on that in your daily life? So try to be, you know, you don't have to be perfect, but, you know, try to spread a little joy when you can. Try to send that ripple or that wave of like confidence or good energy, good cheer when you're out in the world. Just try to envision, you know, that people find peace. You know, I think it's a very big question, but I think it's in your daily individual actions. Like,
Yeah.
you know, you can't wish for this, like, for peace on earth and then be like a monster, like to the grocery store person, you know, like it's really true. Like you have to like find like ways to kind of, you know, be a living embodiment of this kind of peace that you hope to, you know, share with the world.
I think I agree with that too. And what came to mind for me is like, the effect that you have, you know, everything is deeply connected and there is a web of connection for all things. So if you do something in to that person that's immediately in front of you in whatever way, you're going to have a profound effect. I think what happens is I think the subtext of your question is, oh my God, there's so much out there. I feel overwhelmed by all that's out there. So I then will pull back from doing anything because I don't know what to do. And where you can actually do that is in the small acts of kindness. So small acts of doing it. You're not going to fix the world. You're not going to fix humanity and all that's going on. But those little things that you do with what's right in front of you can have profound ripple effects on and on and on. One thing that like you can, it doesn't have to be like you can make a small donation to something, or you can in your interactions with people give a smile to someone as you're walking down the street, or one of the things that I love to do is I sprinkle love fairy dust on people unbeknownst to them. kind of a I don't know,
a little mischief, like little you're a fairy yourself, a little mischievous.
I am part fairy. So when I'm driving down the street, we drive so much in LA. When I'm driving down the street, and if I see people walking, or I see other, you know, I can see people out there, or if I'm walking myself, what I do is I imagine like a bomb of glitter going over them, sprinkling love on them. Now that person doesn't know I'm sending them a love bomb. They don't know that I'm getting the love dust all over them, but I'm sending them a complete gift of unconditional love as we go by. And that thing, which can be for someone who's more introverted, which is not me, but for someone who is more introverted, can be quite powerful, and it doesn't require you to even interact with another person. So I think those kinds of magical workings that you can do, whether it's on the material level or in some way a magical thing where you're just sending love out to something, is going to be that it has power. You just don't maybe necessarily see the power because you see all that's going on in the world.
Right.
One more thing I would suggest, I know maybe controversial, but don't watch the news. News is really meant to make you anxious. And it's meant to make you anxious. And sorry, I'm having to mute. Keep your guys things muted, please. It's meant to make you anxious. And so doing that, feeding yourself with that stuff that creates anxiety doesn't benefit anybody.
No, and you know, and also give in proportion to what you can actually give. You know, if your cup is empty and you're feeling overwhelmed by the world, and then you're giving all your resources to, you know, like, and then you're feeling depleted, like that's not going to make anyone feel better. It's going to create more tension and stress.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
So give in proportion to what you can actually give. So if you can donate your time to causes and things, beautiful. If you can't, say a prayer. If you can't, light a candle. If you can, work your magic. Work your strongest where you're overflowing though, and that I think can help raise the consciousness. And like I said, it's those individual acts of how are you on an individual daily basis, not just in times of crisis. And that kind of thing.
Exactly, I agree. Diana has a question. What are your favorite resources for learning more about canned? Do you know Diana?
Yeah.
What are your favorite resources for learning more about candle magic? Can I do a little plug here? Got a book coming out in October. If you can wait till October, the Candle Magic book by Madame Pamita is coming out, which is, I have to say, whenever I write a book because that book doesn't exist. I don't write a book that's like everybody else's book because what's the point? I wanted there to be a tarot book that had the information that I was teaching, and so I made my tarot book. Now I have the Candle Magic book coming out, which is teaching you about the fundamentals of understanding your candle magic and how you can, why do we do these things? Not just giving you a recipe. So that's going to be a really helpful book for people that are wanting to learn more about candle magic wherever you are, beginner, intermediate, or advanced. It's going to help you to expand your understanding so that you can create your own spells.
And also just like watch Madame Pamita's videos and things. I've learned so much about candle magic, just like being in the same space with you, you know, working together and seeing like how your process and the way you divine through them. And yeah, so just even going through her videos like on YouTube and such, just like
I've had fun. She shows me here when we worked together. She would show me her pictures and her candles. Like, oh my God, look at this candle! Look at that!
Like, what's happening here? So
but
it's super fun.
I actually have my guest from last week is Jackie Smith, and she wrote a great book called Coventry Magic, which is also about candle magic. So I recommend that one too. But if you can wait till October, I got a great book coming out.
Sweet.
Yeah, so that Jackie Smith's book, but my book's coming out in October. It's on on Llewellyn. I keep talking like it's a label, record label.
On Llewellyn. Musician problems.
So, all right. So Honorea says, I love that deck. See, another person that is a big fan of your deck. I meet your fans everywhere I go.
Aww.
You're like Johnny Appleseed of Oracle decks, spreading all that love everywhere. Diana says, when will Priestess be reprinted? We already know that information.
2020.
Fall 2020. Frith has a question. My question is, there's so much information out there on law of attraction and magic. It can get confusing. What basic advice would you give for manifesting your desire in life? What's a helpful tip? I mean, we could spend the whole session and beyond talking about everything, but what would be a helpful tip or a piece of advice that you would give someone about attracting and manifesting?
Check your motives. I only say that because look, being as a person who has manifested things they've thought they wanted and then gotten them and been like, oh my God, this is not what I wanted, or oh, this is like the complete antithesis of what I wanted. I would say check in with yourself and say, do I really need that right now? You know, and it's interesting when I'm clear about that, like I want this thing, not because if I'm being honest and I'm like, and it's not coming from a place of like me thinking this is going to magically fix my life or make me happy, or it's going to like make everything else, you know, that the expectations can really kill your magic, you know, that the desperation, the desire to like manifest things when it's coming from a place of fear. And it's a big thing that I've been noticing is like, and I talked about this actually in my Patreon video for this weekend ahead. It's like, we have really got to check in with ourselves and make sure we're doing things from a place of love and not fear, you know? So why are you trying to manifest that person, relationship, the money, the job, the home, all of the things? Like check in with why are you wanting to manifest it in the first place? Is it fear of missing out? Is it inadequacy because you're only, you know what I mean? Like you're going to keep pulling to you things to kind of level up which is also scary, right? Sometimes we're manifesting and we're not manifesting actually big enough. We're just, oh, that little thing when we need to go bigger, and that can even be scary too. So check in with yourself and just check, again, motives.
Here's what I would add to that too, because, and I got like kind of the workaround for your thing. What you're saying is like checking your motives. I think of it as digging down to like the deeper desire. Sometimes we think, I want that person, but what you want is companionship or love or self-love or happiness or something deeper and more rather than that person that you want or that particular job that you want the other thing, the deeper thing. So I think that is looking at the motives. But I would say there's some hacks, I'll say, for doing law of attraction. I've got 3 magic spell phrases that I add to every spell. I want XYZ or something better, something better, because you may want Johnny or Susie or that job or whatever, or that $1 million, but maybe your divine self knows of something even better. So I'd say, I want XYZ or something better. I also say, I want the perfect outcome in perfect timing. Yes. Perfect outcome and perfect timing allows there to be the space for everything to line up so that you're not sitting there going, are we there yet? Are we there yet? Why isn't my spell working? You're allowing that spell to marinate and do what it needs to do and in its perfect time.
Yes.
And then my 3rd magic phrase is a closed door is as valuable as an open door. So that if you want that thing, Johnny, that job, Susie, that, whatever it is, that new house or whatever it is, and you're meeting that wall, what the universe is doing is the universe is directing you to something better. And you sitting there and banging on that wall is wasting your time, wasting your damn time. And where you need to go is like, okay, let's see if I can veer off into a different direction or try a different door. And so that you don't get stuck, sort of repetitively and obsessively going after that one thing that you think is going to be the solution when your higher self, the universe actually it's like, come over here. The closed door is not a bad thing. And everybody gets so caught up in that closed door being such a bad thing.
Yeah. I mean, I'm guilty. I've been guilty of that too.
Like
the closed road, the closed door. It's like, no, must get there. And it's like, actually go this way. This way.
The sooner you can release and let go. I mean, it's not to say that when you meet a closed door, you can't have a tear or a frustration or be like, damn it. But you can have that, but you don't want to stay completely pounding at that door when being in a more flowing, watery, flowing way, you can get to something even better. And that kind of cooperation as you work with divine energy is what gets you to your things faster. So that's sort of my helpful hint about that. Helpful hint about law of attraction and manifestation and magic. Eve has a question. My 3-year-old daughter is going through an emotional turmoil. That's what being a 3-year-old is all about. Since my husband and I are getting a divorce, our separation occurred due to his abusive behavior. I wanted to know, can I use a Coventry Healing Unjinxed Protection Candle to heal my 3-year-old daughter's emotion? Is it ethical? What do you think?
Well,
so is it ethical to do a candle spell for your child?
I think it's like, I don't know if that would be the one I would use.
What kind of spell would you do for that situation?
I mean, I know it's 3-year-old is like tricky, right? But can you bring the 3-year-old into the magic with you? Like, have them help, like maybe do like a salt bath with your 3-year-old if you can, or some kind of like magical kind of empowering thing for your child instead of just doing the spell work on their behalf. Like maybe get them to participate in their own magic. And I would say like helping them learn how to connect to their own feeling empowered in the situation.
Yeah, I mean, that might be a really great way to get that happening, where you're saying, if you got some bath crystals that look really pretty, you could do a bath with her where you're saying, this is a magical bath to get rid of all bad feelings. We want to release our bad feelings and let them wash down the drain. So we're going to take this bath and we're going to put this in. You can have her put it in the bath and participate. Even with a candle lighting too. You know, you can light the candle together where you're saying, you know, we're going to light a candle for making things more calm. I would instead of doing though, if you're going to go with Coventry candles, they've got some great candles for tranquility, because that's really what the energy of what it is that you want. We've got a tranquil home, a tranquility candle. She's got a lot of beautiful candles for tranquility. And so I think working in that way to just calm the hot emotions, because a 3-year-old is learning to like to self-soothe or to manage their emotions. And so giving this peace and calm, and maybe even, gosh, lavender oil is so great for like in an aromatherapeutic way to calm energies, and also in a magical way to bring love and healing and all of that to the heart. Maybe you do a little ritual every night, like you put a little bit of lavender essential oil that's been cut with, you don't want to put pure any kind of essential oil on your skin, but something that's been diluted with a carrier oil. You know, saying we're going to put this on our hands, we're going to smell it, we're going to put it on our heart to make our heart feel happy again. So some kind of little ritual, and you can bring her in that way. And what a gift to give your kid is to bring them in, you know, start with them with their own magical practice, which also empowers her, because what does a 3-year-old want? They want empowerment, right? They're learning to say no. They're learning to have their power. So giving them the power to learn how to, you know, make themselves feel better is probably the best gift of all in that situation.
Yeah, and just learning to like ask, they can start to like express to you if they're feeling that, you know, and like reaching out, because I think as like a kid being super sensitive, like I got shut down a lot, like at a young age, and it just like, I mean, how different things could have been if I had, you know, was supported versus kind of like people trying to fix me from the side and not letting me participate. And like even at 3, that was really important for me to participate with adults around me to feel like I had a voice and could express myself.
Yeah, I think that could be a really beautiful thing. So, yeah, I think that could be good. I mean, you can do those other candles, depending on jinx would be if you had a jinx on you. We don't know if that's the case. Protection candle can't be a bad thing, but let's bring her into the empowerment, give her her own tools to do her own work. And maybe it's like, yeah, you can have your tears or your tantrum and let it, and when you're ready to bring in a calm feeling or a love feeling, we can do this work. You know, if she's in the middle of it, you know, you don't necessarily want to, you know, depending on where you are, if you're in the middle of the supermarket, obviously that's one thing. But if she's at home and she's, you know, hitting the floor and temper tantrum, maybe that's good for her to have that experience, and like tell her, okay, we can do some magic. When you're done with that, we can do some magic to make your heart feel better. Oh my gosh, what a beautiful thing. And kids are, by the way, so connected to the spirit world in such a deep way. She's going to be doing amazing magic at 3 years old. You know what I mean? Because she's still connected to that spirit world so deeply, you know. Terry, hi everyone, I'm new to this. I want to learn more about candles and chants to accomplish certain things. Affirmations, incantations, all those things. What you got, lady?
Learning, sorry, I'm like,
we already talked about candles, about the candle book that I have coming out, and about Coventry candles.
People are trying to come in.
Sorry.
It's okay. I'm distracted. There's people trying to come in. Okay, candles and chants to accomplish certain things. I mean, you know, we talked about the candles, right? And about like your book, and then I would say checking out videos and things like Madame Pamita's videos on YouTube. I mean, incantations are words, are powerful words or spells. So start thinking about some of like the phrases and things that feel like in alignment with you. I think that for me, like, a lot of times trying to say just incantations, like random incantations, don't have the same effect as my own words because I'm not connected to them. But again, that's, I mean, it's kind of like finding your, there's so much information out there. I feel like.
Yeah, it can be really overwhelming, I think, because there is so much information.
Yeah, I say keep it simple. Keep it simple.
Like, affirmations, I think, is a great place to start. Because you can find a bunch of affirmations, or you can create your own affirmation. And affirmations kind of get, to me, a kind of, I think, people get very dismissive about affirmations. Oh, that's just new age 80s stuff or whatever. But affirmations are you speaking the words of what it is that you want to create. And if we get back to the essence of like words and how powerful words are, the whole word spell, the word spell comes from speaking, feels, saying something. And every magical practice that I am aware of has speaking words as part of that practice. Right? So your words are powerful. So if you want to say like, how can I start doing magic? Start looking at the words that are coming out of your mouth. Are you saying, oh, I'm so broke? Or are you constantly going like, oh, I'm never going to find a relationship? Or all those things. Honey, you're saying a spell. Is that the spell that you really want to say? I don't think so. So you want to say, my prosperity, my prosperity is growing. My perfect love is going to happen in the perfect timing. You know, all of those things that can be positive and give a positive feeling, because you definitely want to have a positive feeling. And also put power. I am something is a very powerful. I am a queen. I am loving and lovable. Those are all kinds of great affirmations and things that you can start saying and start to create, and do that practice of saying those words when you're driving your car, when you're looking in the mirror, when you're, you know, brushing your hair at the beginning of the day. Those are all things that you can do. And for candle magic, start looking at videos. I got tons of videos showing you how to do candle magic. So that's a great place to start. Let's see. Oh, Sarah wants to know, is the podcast Saved by the Spell going to come back? So one of the things we didn't talk about is Marcella has a podcast, or had a podcast called Saved by the Spell.
Yeah, I have a podcast called Saved by the Spell. It's still, all the episodes are still up, and you can still access that for free. You know, I've been, again, as like
one person,
so many things. Particularly this, like, 2019 was also really challenging because I had jaw surgery. I have to have the other side done too, so it made it like impossible to work because I have to speak. For almost a month. And you know, I'd love to, but sometimes I get really kind of as a very highly sensitive person and a person who's high functioning on the spectrum, I get really inundated and overwhelmed sometimes, and I also get a little disenchanted, and I get disenchanted doing so much stuff for free. And I know, like, there is a lot of, and also when there's like a ton of information out there, it makes me less like want. I don't know if it's just because I'm rebellious. I'm like, there's so many people doing this. Why do I need to do it? And you know, I don't get inspired. So it's still up there because there is a glimmer and a hope in my heart that I will get back to recording. But I also need help. I don't know how to do all this stuff on my own. I get overwhelmed.
I'll talk to you about that.
It's just like, it's time management, right? And it's like, I get burnt out. So, you know, it's like coming up with ideas, recording the technical stuff, like, oh my God. And then for me to have something that's free and then have to like pay someone to help me to do it, like, it's a lot. So short story is, it's up there. I really hope I get back to recording at some point, because I do love doing the podcast, like, in terms of like, I love that format and being able to share it with you guys. But like, I need some inspiration.
And there's only so many hours in the day. You know, that's the thing that I find very interesting too for my practice. You know, I have YouTube videos, I do this. I have a podcast myself that's been on hiatus, but it's coming back again. And there's creating newsletters, you know, all these things that we're creating. What happens is, I think people find one thing that they really, really love, and they connect to you in that way. And they don't know that you're doing 20 other things. So the person that gets your podcast and is super into your podcast may not know that you're doing a Patreon, that you're doing readings all day, that you're doing all these things. So I get where the enthusiasm of somebody going like, oh my God, when's your podcast? I love your podcast.
Well, I get a lot of requests for new episodes because it has a thing on there, but like, I really need to find a way to make it.
But I think it's a
manageable
creator,
and also not boring.
Exactly.
Like, it's like, how many times do you want to hear the same friggin' podcast about this, and this? And then I would also get so upset because I would make a podcast and then like a week later I would see people who follow me or doing like teaching workshops on what I just like did a free podcast on, and then they're monetizing off of it. So it just like, there was a lot of feeling disenchanted, and I kind of got burnt out on that.
Yeah. Well, and I think, you know, with anything creative, I mean, you're a huge creator. I think you have to have the fire, the passion, and the enthusiasm for it. And and then, you know, we just ask, as you guys are out there, to support and follow us on our journeys. And sometimes we're going to be making podcasts, and sometimes we're going to be doing YouTube videos, and sometimes we're going to be making decks and books, and sometimes we're going to be doing something else. And so it's not like a factory, you know, like BuzzFeed that's constantly churning out stuff. We're just one person doing this. So sometimes that creativity is going to wind around, especially we're water signs kids. We're gonna kind of wind around.
I'm in the ethers half the time. I really, honestly, if someone offered me a gig and was like, we want you to do a radio show, I'm just putting it out there. Like, we want you to do a radio show. We want to like pay you to do a weekly podcast. Like, I'm happy to. Yeah. But like, I need to get paid, because that's the other thing. Like, cost of living in LA. I just acquired an office, which I take possession of this like coming week.
That's like, exciting.
This is very exciting. But like, cost of living in LA is insane. It's insane. And the amount of things that you have to do. So I would love to offer so many more things for you guys, but like, I also need time.
So the Patreon may be the good way to, maybe the podcast comes out on Patreon or some
equivalent. I mean, I'd like to like bring it back though. I do want to bring it back. I just don't know when or how or what that looks like. Yeah. You know, so it's about.
In the meantime, you can listen to Magic and the Law of Attraction, which is my podcast.
There you go.
When you're done listening to all of Marcella's podcast episodes, come over and listen to mine. I'm going to be doing by the way, you guys, I'm going to be doing new episodes. So if you have questions that you would like to ask or me to cover, think of these big, broad, juicy topics, not like little things, but big things, and that I can talk about for 20 or 30 minutes. And so if you have that, go onto my Instagram, which is Madame Pamita, Instagram.com/Madame Pamita. And there's a post that I just made recently, like saying, hey, it's got this picture of me from above working on a candle. You can put your ideas down, and if I use your idea, if I use your topic, I give you a $50 gift certificate to my shop. So win-win.
Cool.
Are you? It sounds like you're ready to do a reading.
I mean, we should look and see, because we're almost. Where time is it? I just want to make sure.
Yeah, let's do a reading for everybody.
Okay,
it's perfect.
Let's see.
So tell us what's going on astrologically right now.
All right. So just to clarify, sorry, I'm moving some things around here. I'm not an astrologer, so I always like to like preface with that, but astrology is kind of like the gateway that opened me up into diving really into tarot. And a lot of it was so I have like this weird, it's not weird. I have to stop calling my brain weird. I have this brain that works in maps.
Unique.
And it's like, I love like reading charts and looking at them. To me, I see all this other stuff in them. But anyway, so I pay attention to astrology. Because it's pertinent and it's important. It's like paying attention to the weather, right? You want to know how to prepare for the weather, and that's the way I look at it. Anyway, so we just had a full moon eclipse, and you know, that was on Friday here, and then today we have this conjunction that astrologers have been like talking about for years, and it's the Saturn-Pluto conjunction in Capricorn, and it's pretty heavy energies. And I have to be honest, like the last few it's been a trip. In the last few days especially, my head has been in the gnarliest places, right? Like the funkiest places. And I it's like, part of me knows it's like these old structures deconstructing. And I feel like on a spiritual level, a lot of clients of mine and people I know that like, if they've been doing the work, they're feeling the crunch, but they're not losing their minds. They're just like, oh, I'm uncomfortable. Like everything's changing. But then people who have not been doing the work, you know, or like haven't really been making the effort to kind of reground themselves in this new world that we're stepping into, you know, like they're going mental, you know, in a big way. So what I do, like I said, on the Patreon is I look at, there's 4 things. I look at the energies we're being presented with for the week, what we can let go of for the week, what we can call in to support us, and where things are heading. Okay. And then look at it like this cosmic soup. So it's just like an energy forecast for the collective. So I'm going to do that right now for the people who are on here watching, just for all of you, just as a, you know, a way to kind of navigate the week ahead. Okay.
And me too.
You too. All of us. Me too. All of us, right? So I'm using like my Sacred Symbols 3rd edition here. And like I said, we're going to look at the collective energies for the week ahead, specifically for everyone who is, if you are on the live or if you're just happen to tuning into this, this is for you as well. Okay. So, great. So what are we working with? I'm going to just pull and then I'll tell you what the cards are, what to let go of, what to call in, and where it's heading. Okay, great. Great. So what we are working with, this is the meditate card. I don't know if you can see it. Sorry, the light's a little. There we go. So this is the energy that we are working with for this week. And this, the meditate card this is about getting connected to a power greater than yourself. This is about the Zen energy. This is about how do I tune into this non-reactive energy. This is what we're being kind of like, this is the wavelength of what we come in on. This is the baseline of the energy of the week ahead, even though it's felt very intense and kind of like cathartic probably for some of you, or kind of confusing because it feels like we're in this void, right? This meditate card is really saying like, coming from this place of being connected to something outside of yourself and really tapping into the collective energies. This is the baseline energy we're working with, which is cool. I mean, but that can be scary for some people, right? To have Zen when you're used to things being in a reaction mode, like you had to react to an energy to make through it. When you have the flatline energy, like, what do I do with that? Okay. Now, what to let go of? The veiled card, the mask, okay, what to let go of? Let go of hiding. This is not a week to hide. This is not, everything is up for reveal. Now, the thing with that is it can be for better or worse, right? People have been hiding their light. People have been hiding their gifts. You can't hide, right? I actually had a reading recently with someone and she's like, no hiding. You have to put yourself out there more. I'm like, no, I don't want to. But you know, that's essentially what it is. At the same time, like, so you're being asked to pull yourself to the front, and it's uncomfortable to be visible because it means being vulnerable. Now, at the same time, the no more hiding thing means if anyone's been duping you or any situation has been unjust, you're also going to see that. So it's that principle of this week, you know, you can't go from seeing to unseeing again. So everything is really visible this week, okay? What you can call in to help you. Now, we have the divine masculine energy, right? So divine masculine energy, this is what we're working with. We're essentially the card for the year. If you do the numerology of this year, we are in an emperor year, okay? So when I look at the masculine, divine masculine energy, this is not a gendered card. This is about an energy. And the energy of the masculine it's the container in which we have the container in which we create. It's our foundations, our baseline, it's our structures. It's also the energy of how we believe the world takes care of us. And if you had not a good example of that, okay, for whatever reason, on whatever level, internally, personally, in your immediate family, in your communities, in the world around you, this is your redefining moment. This week, you get to decide what is the container I get to create and, or I get to share my love in, or have in my community, my structure. What is it? How do I envision how the world takes care of me? And I get to redefine it. Because if it hasn't been good, you get to go, you know what, reset. You might start making changes in the people, places, and things that you're supporting, you're hanging out in, based on this, needing this new sturdy, structured environment, this new kind of supportive thing. So masks off, new environments to create, and where does it lead? We have gratitude, right? It's the candle, the gratitude.
Right, good show. There we go.
So coming to a space of gratitude, not just for the things that are working out in your favor, but for all the things that maybe didn't work out that got you here. And by having gratitude for what has come, you're not saying that, oh, all is forgiven, all is well, especially if some of you have had a more tumultuous life or upbringing. This is more about being grateful that you're not there anymore, that you get to make different choices, that you are grateful for the things that are already en route to you. And again, it's coming back to that sense of peace, but from a place of illumination. You get to take be the sum of all your experiences and illuminate the pathway for others that are important to you in your life, for your communities, and for your loved ones. You know, so yes, intense week, revealing week, vulnerable week, but you get to choose how you're supported now, you know, which I think is pretty empowering.
It's amazing. I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
There's lots to work with there. You know, it's not like you just have to passively accept all the feelings. You get to actually do something with this.
Yeah.
And
And you can feel your feelings for sure. And you can feel frustrated, you can feel upset, and you can feel, you know, like you can feel maybe like disenfranchised, but you don't have to sit in it forever, you know? And that's kind of what this is saying. It's like, we get to build our new realities now. A lot of people have been frustrated for thousands and thousands of years, you know, for many, many reasons, very valid reasons. But you're living in a time where you can go, you know what, F this. Like, let's really work on creating a new paradigm. Let's create a new world. And you're going to be met with obstacles and resistance from people you love, from people you thought you were on the same page. And you might be seeing that this week, and or, you know, this weekend, this week, and you'll be like, wait, I thought we had the same page, you know what? No. But that's what the big reveal is. It's the same thing with meeting that closed door. You don't get to you don't have to keep butting into it anymore. You can go, okay, this is not the direction for me, and I don't need to convince anyone else that they need to go this way. I'm going to choose going in this direction that better supports me and the people I love. So.
I love that. I love that.
Cool.
So you guys, Marcella, where are all the places that they can find you online? I know those places, but they don't know those places.
So I have a website, marcellakroll.com. But honestly, the best way to find me right now these days is either on my Patreon, which you can search Saved by the Spell, or on Instagram, it's at Marcella Kroll. And those are the places to find me. I don't have Twitter. I have a Facebook. I don't use it. Like, you know, email me is really good. I'm not good with DMs, personal DMs, or email DMs that have like things you could get answered in a reading. I usually don't respond, or I direct you to my email. So
yeah, so go to her site if you want to have a reading with her. You do remote readings.
I do phone readings, and starting in February, I will be offering in-persons again in Los Angeles because I got an office finally, yay. And virtual, but not till February. So for now, I'm actually almost booked up this month too. So I'm booked out about 2 weeks. Phone. It works just the same as in person. You just have to be focused. You can't be surfing the internet and like looking at your Instagram and on the reading, or like out in a public place looking at the birds and hearing the sirens. So I tell people, virtual works just fine as long as you're focused.
Yeah, you know, sometimes people ask me that because I do readings, email, phone, Skype, not Skype anymore, but Zoom. I do all those things, and people say, "Well, is it as good as an in-person reading?" I go, "Absolutely." And what's interesting to me as a reader is the email readings, because you have other than the question you get from the person, you're just fully on intuition. And those ones, to me, when I get the feedback from those, are people like, oh my God, you said everything. It was exactly as what's happening and what's going to be the solution. You tapped into stuff. So those readings can be quite powerful in terms of like revealing a lot, but they're just as good. The only thing I'd say is that the in-person reading, to get to see the cards, but you can look at those cards online. Totally. You can look at those pictures.
Half the time though, in person, like I have to tell you, like I'm using cards, but I'm not even looking. Like
you're just getting downloads
a lot of times, or I'm seeing patterns and things. Like I don't read like a traditional reader at all. You know,
she doesn't. I've had readings with her.
So,
they're amazing.
Like, even people are like, "What is this card?" or "What is this one here?" and that one. And I'm like, "Ugh."
Yeah, because you're looking at way more. Like she's very like stream of consciousness. I would say when you do your readings, you're just like throwing one card after the other. It's not like layouts. It's not that traditional kind of thing. Yeah. And you're telling the story as it unfolds, almost like unspooling that story, which is such a beautiful way of reading. So I recommend to you readers out there, go to other readers, because you'll see different methods and different ways of doing it.
Other readers.
Me too. Because you see other people's, what they're doing, how they're doing it, and you get an objective
viewpoint. Yeah, I think a lot of times too, be open to other readers, because like I know for me personally, there are a lot of things I can see for other people, but then in certain areas in my life, like I'm like, I can't look at my own love life. It's like, it's just not, I'm not objective. I can't like really clearly see what's going on, but like I will go to other readers for that information, you know, or for that perspective. So.
That Three of Swords, when I pull it up on a relationship reading for myself, means my heart is going to be pierced with love, right? Oh, tarot jokes. We're full of them here. Tip the waitress. I'll be here all week. All right, you guys. I won't be out. I'll be here somewhere all week. It was so great to have you here in person. It was so great to be here. You know, I love you so much. And it was so great to have you guys here in the clubhouse. I hope you come back again. If this is your first time, and the ones that are regulars, it's great to see you guys. We'll be here next week. And next week, my guest is going to be Gwendolyn of Readings by Gwendolyn. She is a gem. And if you don't know about her, she is such a delight. She is just amazing. So please join us next week. We're going to talk about tarot. We're going to talk about magic. She is just high vibe all the way. You'll totally love it. We'll be here again, same bat time, same bat channel, 5 p.m. Pacific time, 6 p.m. Mountain, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern time next Sunday. You don't have to sign up again for spellsquad.com because that same link is going to work and you're going to get an email from me with the link right before anyway. So thank you again, you guys, for being here. You know I love you all. I'm so glad to bring you amazing people like Marcella, and you can find out all about her and get her great wisdom. And it's my pleasure to bring that to you. So we'll see you next week. Thanks again, guys. Bye. Bye.